Welcome back to the Gardening with Joy and Holly radio show. Thank you for being with us this hour. Time for questions and answers. You got a question, you can submit it, gardentalkradio@gmail.com, gardentalkradio@gmail.com, or you can give us a call at 1-800-927-SHOW. That's 1-800-927-SHOW. Had questions come in this week. We'll start with this one. My potatoes are knobby and gnarly in one area of my yard that is near the grass. This has been treated by my lawn service, but they are okay further away from the lawn. What is causing this problem with my potatoes?
So it's because of the lawn service. Whatever is being sprayed on the lawn is going into the groundwater, it's getting to the potatoes, and it's causing them to grow inefficiently, knobby, gnarly, etc. The potatoes that are further away from the lawn and having the lawn service spray are fine because they're not having that pesticide, herbicide, or whatever seep into the groundwater as close. So that's why they are fine. So if you do have your lawn sprayed, maybe you perhaps want to grow not a root crop near that, move it further away or something, put some flowers there, whatever.
Or look for an organic means.
Organic means to control your lawn problems.
Next question. A lot of my vegetables aren't producing as well anymore. Peppers, tomatoes, garlic. I haven't done much differently. Should I add something to the soil or get a soil test, or what is your advice?
I would definitely recommend a soil test, especially if it's been years and years that maybe you're you notice a decline in maybe having smaller vegetables.
Never had a test?
Have never had a test, less of a harvest, etc. Especially if you're thinking about adding something, because if you add too much of one thing or you throw off the balance, that can mean even another year of bad vegetables. So if you get the soil test done, then you can get an idea of what to add.
University Extension Office does a test for a small fee, and you can find out a lot of information. So check that out online. Do a search for soil test in your area. Okay, next question. I planted Brussels sprouts at the same time as my butternut squash, and my squash is doing well, but I have yet to see sprouts on my Brussels sprouts. Any reason why? Are the sprouts not going to form? Well, this is a problem that many newer gardeners, I guess, the best terminology to use, find themselves in, that Brussels sprouts take a very long time to mature. Sometimes the package says 90 to 120 days. It does take a long time. Now, the key to get very good and very large sprouts on your Brussels sprouts is to top the plant. Now, if you are, you're about 45, 50, 60 days out, 2 months out of the end of the season, and you begin to see the knobs or the sprouts begin to develop on the joint of the plant between the stalk, the limb, and the stem, go ahead and top your Brussels sprouts. That means go in there with shears, a scissors, a secular, some type of cutting device, and go down 6 inches from the top and hack it off. Going to look dramatic, it's going to look scary, but it's okay to do that. What is occurring when you do that, when you top that plant off? Just like we talked about with tomatoes, you're telling the plant stop growing vertical and start putting on the fruit that you got, or start producing what you're supposed to do. You're going to see the sprouts on the Brussels sprout begin to get larger. Continue to hydrate, continue to do all of those things that you normally would do, but just top that plant off. The sprouts, that way, your sprouts will be as large as possible. Same thing as we've talked about on the program with hardneck garlic. You cut the scape off in order to put more energy into the bulb. You're cutting the top off the Brussels sprout in order to put more energy into the sprout development and size rather than the vertical growth of the plant. We've had plants that have been 3 and 4 foot, almost 5 foot tall in some instances. We topped them early, and the sprouts have been as large as golf balls. So great way to get larger sprouts, top the plant off. Next question, I have some Utah tall celery that I have grown, and this year I find it to be extremely tough. Do you have any suggestions on why that might be? One thing that comes to my mind immediately is you haven't watered it adequately. If you do not water plants such as lettuce, spinach, celery, whatever the case is, it's going to get extremely tough because it is in a survival mode, not a production mode. Its job is to do what it needs to do in order to put sprouts on, or put seeds on, to carry on the traits for the next generation. So by not watering it on a regular basis, this can cause the plant to be very stressed. So there's not really much you can do about it now once you've harvested it, but what you can do is potentially cook it down, that type of thing, and try to make it, edible. But not watering is the problem there. Next question. Is there any reason why I could not place a raised bed over my septic system tank? Well, this in a lot of places in rural areas, you have a septic system. You don't have a sewer system in which the byproducts of the house can get released into the sewer, and away it goes to the municipal plant. In the rural areas, there is a system or a tank underground where it breaks down, and then once the products of the house has gone into the septic system, and then a breakdown process has occurred, once the liquid or the tank gets to a certain level, there are exit ports in which there's a pipe, and it will run out to a certain low-lying area and will get soaked into the ground. So, and all septic tanks have a lid in which one can get inside of it to fix problems or whatever the case is, pump it out if there's an issue. So the question is, again, is there any reason why you couldn't put a raised bed over top of the septic system tank? Here is two things you want to keep in mind. One, you could potentially have too much weight in that raised bed, and the weight can collapse the ceiling of the tank, assuming it's concrete or like a vault underground. Secondly, if you have a raised bed on top of your septic system tank, you most likely may not know where the hole is or the lid is for entrance and exit for people who may need to get in there and fix it, or if there's a problem or whatever the case is. So you may be covering that up as well. The best answer I can give you is no, don't put it over top of the septic system tank. Try to find elsewhere to put it. And be also aware in rural areas, if you are in that situation, know where the area is where the tank flows out of and into the low-lying area. You should be able to smell it or see it's a very boggy, wet area. So keep away from that so there's no contamination to the vegetables in which you're growing. Hey there, gardeners. Thanks for checking out this segment of the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show. If you like what you've seen, you can search through the channel and find full in-studio videos of the entire show. If you want to go another route, you can search for it on your favorite podcast platform by searching the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener radio show or the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show, and you can download it and take it with you. You can check out all past seasons at our website, thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com, under the radio tabs at the top of the page. We thank you for joining us. We hope you've learned and enjoyed the show, the segment, and we'll see you next time.